Hello and welcome to Horror Cult Trash Over, the show that discusses all the masterpieces and trash to pieces of genre cinema. I'm Chris.
And I'm Gary, and everyone thinks I've just tuned into a different show. Big showman intro there. Chris changing it up.
Trust, that was my fifth attempt at that.
Got there eventually.
That's quite difficult to say, actually.
That was especially a treat for everyone to apologise for being a day late.
Yes.
Sometimes life happens, and we always want to deliver the best episode possible to you guys. So if that means delaying it by a day to put a bit of extra oomph into it, then that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. Thanks for your patience.
Yeah, and that was the other oomph that we wanted to put into it.
Yes.
Me sounding like
Chris doing the intro.
Sounding like fucking Price is Right guy.
The Price is Right
Come
guy.
on down.
I mean,
supermarket sweep, isn't it?
What? Yeah, you definitely sound like Dale Winton.
No, the voiceover guy. The voiceover.
Oh.
Welcome to Wheel of Fortune.
Appropriate showmanship for this. No, it's not. This is the least showy film ever.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, it's not a big operatic camp musical, which is what it sounded like you were introducing. But.
Yeah, no, let's. I'll take over from here. So this was my choice for this week. I have a selection of films in mind to do as podcast episodes, and I try and find the right time to do them. Shows that I think right on brand, that I'm really looking forward to doing podcast episodes on, that aren't really in keeping with any of the categories that sometimes we do, sort of like women in horror or, Valentine's February. And this one I had, Savage Streets, in my opinion, is the quintessential 80s B-movie.
Yeah.
It has absolutely everything you need. I thought it would make a great podcast episode. Let's hope. And I just love it. Love it. So I've held on to it, and I thought, you know what? This week, let's do Savage Streets.
Yeah, absolutely. And although it may not be a big song and dance showman intro, like I said, it is still a great film.
Oh, yeah. It's camp.
Yeah.
It's camp. Linda Blair is camp as tits in this film.
Yeah.
And I love every second she's on the screen.
Yeah, Savage Streets from 1984, directed by Danny Steinman. The director of Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning.
Oh, no.
The Unseen, and adult film High Rise. Now, are you really shocked it's from the director of Friday the 13th, Part 5, of how sleazy it is?
Yeah, but all these kind of films were sleazy.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a specific type of sleaze that this guy seems to nail. But anyway, it wasn't just him. Uncredited co-director Tom DeSimone.
Yes.
Director of Hell Night, Reformed Schoolgirls.
Oh, nice. Oh, well, here's your sleaze.
How to Make a Homo Movie.
Oh, lovely.
Confessions of a Male Groupie.
Oh.
Highway Hustler. Lust in the Afternoon. Eroticus, A History of the Gay Movie. Black Heat. Everything Goes. Good Hot Stuff. Six Card Stud. Heavy Equipment. Bad Boys. Gay Guide to Hawaii. The Dirty Picture Show. Wet Shorts. Skin Deep. Bi-Coastal. B-I, as in bisexual.
Oh.
Bye Love, again. B-I Love. Coming Distractions, and many, many more. Yes, other than How Night, Reformed Schoolgirls, and a few TV shows here and there, Tom DeSimone was a gay porn director.
Hey.
Which surprises me with the amount of homophobic slurs you get in this fucking film.
It's the 80s, isn't it, unfortunately?
A budget of $1.2 million. I assume most of that is on Linda Blair's wage and John Farnham.
John Farnham. Yeah, John Farnham.
who's
don't think
inexplicably providing the soundtrack here.
Well, I don't think he...
Was You're the Best
big
released
name.
by that point?
No, You're the Best was it Karate Kid 2? It wasn't even Karate Kid 1. You're the Best.
What about You're the Voice?
Is that the same guy?
Yeah.
Oh.
You're the Best. You're the Voice. You're the whatever songs is it? You're the Best. You're the Voice. You're the Bad Boys. You're the Gay Guy to Hawaii. Oh shit! No. You're the Wet Shorts.
Yeah, I don't think this was. I think this was before he made it big with that one song.
Yeah, You're the Voice was 1986. You're the Best is apparently. Is it the same song?
Oh my god, is it not him? Are we embarrassed ourselves?
I think we're embarrassed. No, he's You're the Voice. He's not You're the Best.
Oh, so who did You're the Best? Fuck's sake.
This is the height of our professionalism.
This is confusing. It's hard being...
Joe Esposito was You're the Best around.
Oh, okay.
But still, You're the Voice is a big song. John Farnham's a big name. So, yeah, it's surprising to hear him pop up on the soundtrack every now and
then. Yeah, I'm assuming... No, I'm assuming this is quite early in his career.
I think so.
I don't think he cost that much. I think a lot of the budget would have gone on Linda Blair.
I can't tell you how much it made worldwide because it's not known knowledge. But what I can tell you is
Millions.
Arrow Video released the film on DVD fully uncut for the first time in the UK in 2011. However, many of the copies were destroyed in a fire at a warehouse during the London riots in the same year. So the DVD is now considered rare and is highly sought after by collectors.
Yes, unfortunately. I'm waiting for a big fat deluxe Blu-ray edition.
Maybe 4K.
Maybe 4K. Do you know what? Can we just have like a box set of Linda Blair in the 80s? Let's have Hell Night, Chained Heat, Savage Streets, that random, is it a random jungle-based zombie film that they tacked her on at the beginning for like 10 minutes and paid her loads of money for?
Cameron from Killer Flicks has actually recently requested that we do Grotesque.
Oh, yeah. Grotesque.
If there's enough to talk about for a full episode.
Grotesque was quite boring, actually, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But Linda Blair, absolute queen of the B-movies.
Yes.
Legend, stunning, gorgeous, fabulous. She is the moment.
Yeah.
I love her. Real big advocate for animal rights as well, which I love. She's a legend, living legend. Absolutely. And this is her film from start to end.
It is. Cherie Curry was originally cast as Brenda, Linda Blair's role.
Oh. You know who she is, don't you?
I don't.
Lead singer of the Runaways.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Brink Stevens auditioned for the role of Heather alongside good friend Linnea Quigley, who ended up getting the role instead. Brink actually drove Linnea to the audition.
Yeah, Linnea Quigley's her first film.
I think this is her first film.
Playing a very innocent character.
Yeah.
Which is a bit off-brand for her later roles.
Yeah. The BBFC demanded a total of 24 minutes worth of cuts to the film before it was released in the UK initially. At the time, the BBFC had a virtually zero tolerance to sexual violence and the use of a crossbow.
Oh, okay. Fucking hell. That's a big chunk of the film then.
Yeah. Tom D. Simone only did a few days of filming. He was the original director, but he quit after a few days. And it put the film on hold, prompting certain cast members to pursue other projects, such as Deborah Blee, whose character inexplicably disappears in the second half of the film, before Danny Steinman was hired as the replacement.
What character's that?
So Deborah Blee played Rachel.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't even notice.
Obviously, a very memorable character.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't notice.
During a 2004 interview, Linnea Quigley was asked if it was very nerve-wracking to appear nude in front of lots of people during a sexual assault scene, knowing that the whole world might see her, or if she found it liberating. She said, "I don't find nudity liberating at all. I had a hard time every time I was required to be nude in this and other films. Since the cast and crew all have tried to get on set like they've never seen a naked woman before, so I always try to have closed sets." In later interviews, Quigley, who has been nude in most of her films since the beginning of her career, said nudity is no longer a big deal, and wondered why people were so freaked out about it.
Yeah, Linnea Quigley does have a reputation for going nude in the majority of her films, really. Have we seen a film where she hasn't done nude scenes?
No, because even in Nightmare on Elm Street 4, where she's literally a cameo, she's still pushing her boobs out.
She is, yeah. No, good on her, you know.
Yeah.
Again, stunning woman, you know, and I think, and I say it a lot on the podcast, a lot, but there is a very weird sort of, not a prejudice, but and people have a weird issue with nudity and sex in films. It's very strange. Now, obviously, I don't think, you know, I think it should be age restricted, but also I think people get really up in arms about these things way more than they do violence. You know, they're complete ends of the spectrum. People have real big issues with sex scenes, but they don't have issues with very violent scenes.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
It is a weird one. I mean, what I find really weird here is that she said that everyone rushed onto the set like they'd never seen nudity before, for the scene where she's nude. That's weird considering the nature of that scene.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And also, you know, it's not very professional. I mean, not that I think this is probably the most professional film to make, but it's not very professional as well to just, you know, all bombard her while she's doing her first ever nude scene.
Yeah, it's very creepy. It's because once you've seen her nude, then you're just hanging around watching her.
Yeah.
And that's really creepy. It's like, it's in the film anyway.
Yeah.
You know? Not that, and it really isn't a scene you'd get off to anyway, is it? Very creepy. Very creepy.
Former underboss of Colombo crime family, Michael Franzese, produced this film.
Oh, God.
Director Danny Steinman's debut feature was a XXX rated film High Rise, and just as he was going to begin a series for the Playboy channel, he was offered the job of replacing the initial director for this film. He was given permission to rewrite the film and did so with just 18 hours of preparation.
Yeah. It's an alright written film. The writing's probably the worst part.
There's some iconic lines here.
Yeah, there are, but you can. The ending is really stretched out.
According to everyone involved, the scene we just mentioned with sexual assault was the toughest scene to film. Many of the actors pointed out in interviews that Linnea Quigley, who played the character being raped, was the most composed of the performers during that sequence. But everyone else was just really uncomfortable with it, which I can imagine it is.
Absolutely.
Other than the guys who rushed in to watch it.
Yeah. But I suppose as an actor having to play that role mustn't be very nice. I suppose you're tapping into a really horrible part for the acting.
Sal Landy, who plays Fargo, said he was in awe of Linda Blair and spent a lot of time talking about The Exorcist and its sequel with her. Johnny Vanoka was also starstruck with Blair and said he was in love with her and got to travel with her to do some of the publicity for the film. He and some of the other actors were also in awe of John Vernon, even though their acting approaches caused tension with his old school approach.
I see. Fella's not in it that much, though, to be fair.
No. And Body Count 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this isn't like a slasher film or anything.
No. So getting into the film, a teenage vigilante seeks revenge on a group of violent thugs who raped her handicapped sister and killed her best friend.
Yes, Yeah, very simple rape revenge premise. Very prevalent, particularly in the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As premises for a film. Yeah.
I mean, very 80s is something you're going to hear a lot in this episode because, I mean, this is the 80s.
Yeah, incredibly 80s.
I mean, yeah, this really is. I mean, the title card at the start is super 80s. With some sirens in the background before we're introduced to Vinny, a guy clearly in his 30s. Yeah, none of the teenagers in this film. I know we know it's a thing that went on a lot during the 80s, and the 70s. Well, I mean, up until recently, really.
I understand that there are restrictions on times that teenage actors could work.
Yeah.
So they would always get someone older, particularly in a film like this, which involves, in parts graphic nudity and such. But I understand there are restrictions as to what times someone, I'm assuming under the age of 18, can work. So I'm not massively familiar with the American school system. But I'm assuming they're meant to be 17, 18?
Yeah, they really look their actual ages.
Yeah. A lot of them look like they're pushing 30 and beyond.
Especially this guy, Vinny.
Especially this guy.
He's told by his dad not to stay out too late because he has school tomorrow.
His dad looks like Shadrach from Emmerdale.
Yes.
or the Cowardly Lion.
Vinny pops into a bush nearby his house and changes into his bad boy clothes.
Oh my god. And what does his bad boy clothes involve?
Leather.
A camouflage t-shirt and a leather jacket. He's picked up by his 80s bad boy stereotype friends.
Yes. They're a gang known as the Scars.
The Scars. I didn't get that till much later on.
No.
That they were called the Scars.
We get a song playing that sounds a little too similar to Beat It by Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
It lyrics about nothing standing in our way.
The other Scars also look at least 35 years of age.
They do.
And they drive around harassing women as I've put it, a banger plays and the credits continue.
Yeah, then we're introduced to Brenda, played by Linda Blair, her deaf-mute younger sister Heather, played by Linnea Quigley, and their friends. They all go for a walk, aren't they?
Yeah, and what do Brenda and Corey Hart have in common?
And they wear sunglasses.
They wear their sunglasses at night. So yeah, Brenda and her gal pals, they haven't got a cool nickname. It's
No.
in Greece. Even though they do wear matching jackets at one
They
point.
do.
But they're all on the savage streets having a little
They
window
are.
shop. They absolutely all look like members of the Go-Go's. Definitely. Absolutely giving head over heels. No, not head over heels. Our lips are sealed. Music video vibes.
Do you think Lady Gaga and Salma Hayek wanted to join this gang when they wore their
Oh my god.
gang gear in House of Gucci?
I'm not sure if it was this gang they wanted to join. What they were giving me was Lesbian Bar from Foxy Brown.
I don't think it was too far from this though.
No.
Especially Linda Blair's outfit.
Yeah, that's true. In some wonderful foreboding, they stopped to have a window shop at a weapons store. Come on. But they all stop and have a look. Like, ooh, there's a bear trap, there's a crossbow, there's a gun.
Yeah, they have a look in a peephole as well in an adult shop window.
Yes.
This is a weird thing. I mean...
It's something that we can't really comprehend.
No.
Because it was very similar in London as well.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is set in New York no, I think it's the stars on the floor. So it might be set in like California or Hollywood.
Maybe. It baffles me that there's an adult shop with peepholes in the actual window on the front where anyone could just look through.
Yeah. For a little taster. But yeah, it was stuff like porn theatre cinemas and such. I really don't it's hard for us to imagine that now. But back in the day, you know, particularly in New York, they were everywhere. You know, you went to, was it Times Square? Where all these things were, and you could see a porno film on the big screen.
Yeah.
I really don't understand how that works, but...
Isn't there, I swear we walked past one in Birmingham once. Like,
Didn't
still
we?
there.
Wasn't
yeah.
it Paris we saw one?
Maybe both. Maybe
Might have been
both.
both.
So if you want to go to one and find out for yourself, go to Birmingham or Paris.
I just don't understand. I'm assuming people don't give themselves a treat at them.
Oh, you know
Like, wasn't
does.
Pee Wee Herman arrested for
Come
that?
on. Oh, well,
He was apparently. I'm assuming you're not allowed to.
Okay, we witnessed someone getting sucked off whilst watching Lamb. I'm pretty sure if they go to a porno cinema, I'm sure they'll...
Yeah, but really, we should have called the police on those people. 'Cause that is illegal.
Should fucking call the police on the film, so how boring it was.
But it is... Gary was clearly more offended by the film than the blowy at the back. But surely that is illegal. Like, Pee Wee Herman was arrested for doing that.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing that, then what? You're just sat there watching a porn. just watching it with a group of other men. It's so weird. Do you not think?
I suppose, yeah. I mean, I've never really considered going to one, so I haven't really thought about it.
That's how we met.
You should be so lucky.
Anyway.
Yeah, we're going to carry on with the film.
Anyway.
Brenda gives them a telling off.
Anyway, Gary would like to continue.
They try offering Heather some booze and Brenda gives them a telling off.
I thought we postponed to make the podcast better.
We're giving the best porn cinema recommendations. Brenda, yeah, she gives them a telling off. They try offering Heather some booze.
Yeah, Brenda from the get-go is very protective of Heather. Heather is deaf and I think just deaf.
No,
she's
mute
mute as well. But she's very, very protective. Even to a fault, I think.
Yeah.
At times during the film.
Something else that we need to know later on.
Yeah.
The scars almost run down Heather and get a telling off by the girls. The gang leader, Jake...
So this is one I was kind of like, is this Heather's fault? I mean, she was the only one crossing the road.
Yeah.
If they'd all been crossing... but they did take the turn quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Probably quicker than they should. But she didn't look before she crossed.
No.
But it's the Scar's fault because they're bad people.
The gang leader, Jake, offers the girls to go to a party and Brenda isn't up for the idea. So she says, "How does that sound? Let's see. Almost as good as drowning in a pool of vomit." The line delivery in this film really is so bizarre, but I love it so much.
It's like I said, and I will say this a lot. It's camp.
Mm-hmm.
It's camp. Linda Blair was nominated for a Razzie.
Oh
for
no!
Worst Actress. It was for this film, Night Patrol, and Savage Island. So Savage Island was the film that they sort of filmed. They filmed it all. And just sort of got her to do like a 10-minute thing at the beginning and just like tacked it on. I'd still like to watch that film.
I really hope she's coming back for this Exorcist recall that they're doing.
Well, apparently
Ellen
Burstyn is at the moment. So I don't know. But I mean, it's their story.
Yeah.
You know, Ellen Burstyn and Linda Blair was her daughter. So let's hope so.
Hope Ellen Burstyn's the one doing the exorcism. That'd be great.
That would be great.
The scars.
She got battered in the first
She
film.
did.
I mean, Ellen Burstyn, she's in her 80s now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I hope they calm down a little bit and not throwing her around like they did in the original.
The scars corner a guy and his girlfriend. They beat the guy up, take his girlfriend's top off, and start feeling her up, just because the guy owes the scars some money.
Yes. So from the get-go, if the leather jackets and piercings weren't a giveaway,
Yeah.
these are bad boys.
The girls are having a laugh at some lads' mags at a newsstand when they notice the Scars leave their car unattended.
Well, it's not Lad Mags.
Is it not?
It's Playgirl.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's Playgirl. Check out the schlong on that. He can put it on the nightstand when he's finished.
I completely missed that.
Yeah, it was Playgirl, so we're looking at a schlong.
The Scars leave their car unattended, so the girls steal it, trash it, and then go for ice cream.
Yeah, basically. Then we cut to gym class.
Yes.
The gym teacher's telling him to suck in that gut. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be allowed to say now. I'm a little confused by what Brenda is wearing to gym class. None of them are really in gym gear.
No.
One of them is in like a camouflage bikini top. But most confusing is Brenda, who I believe is wearing a halter top.
Was it the most confusing not Stevie, who's wearing a Specials t-shirt?
A Specials t-shirt.
Well, it's not a t-shirt, is it? It's, what would you call that?
Crop top?
Crop top.
Well, I think it's a t-shirt that's been cut.
Oh, okay.
To make it a crop top.
She's listening to her Walkman. She doesn't give a shit about gym class. Brenda is always wearing really nice outfits to school. Outfits you wouldn't normally see a so-called teenager wearing to school.
Well, we've got this thing now with Euphoria, the TV series, with Zendaya. And this is a very American thing, is being able to go to school in your normal clothes. I mean, here in the UK, everyone basically wears a uniform up until you go to college. But this whole thing is Euphoria, is that a lot of them wear like crop tops or very revealing clothes to school, and so they're allowed to wear their own clothes, but there are sort of rules against what you can and can't wear in those regards. So it's very similar in this Savage Streets, where like they just wear whatever they like. And there's also a lot of smoking in the classroom in this film. It's very, very 80s in that sense. Very anti-education.
Yeah.
I find a lot of these sort of films are based around how crap school is and how
it's very class of
class
of 84, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, and there was a slew of these films. I mean, Trauma.
Yeah.
Class of Newcomb High. It's a lot of the comedy is based around how shit school is.
Yeah. They're all really fuming with this gym teacher.
They fucking hate
we find out she's a stuck-up bitch, thanks to Brenda, don't we?
Yes.
The principal of the school catches the Scars bullying another kid, so tells them to go fucking Iceberg.
Well, this is the guy that still owes them money. The girlfriend from the night before. Yeah, so they're in the hallway. Apparently, seemingly only Vinny goes to the school.
Yeah.
And they're, I'm assuming, older then?
Yeah.
Which is hard to fathom, considering how old Vinny looks. Principal's played by John Vernon. He's been in loads of stuff.
Yeah.
I can't even remember. I didn't know him from Sweet Movie. Is that weird?
That is a little weird. John Vernon,
where he has the golden penis.
is most known for Dirty Harry, Animal House, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and Airplane 2.
Oh, okay. That, according to IMDb. Now, I don't know if anyone else listening religiously goes on IMDb to find out what they know someone from. But generally, IMDb's most well-known can be a little confusing.
Yeah.
Because, really? Some of them are really out there.
I think he's the cop that's always angry in Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the one that gets used as a puppet.
Oh, yeah. I know him from Sweet Movie.
Trying to forget Sweet Movie.
But I quite enjoyed that film. But we're going through Golden Girls, aren't we, at the moment?
Yeah.
And whenever anyone appears, we go onto IMDb to find out what we know them from. A lot of them are sort of B-movie actors, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Brenda Vaccaro was on the one we watched most recently. If you remember her from Supergirl. She's a former star of the podcast.
Imagine if we did it with Murder, She Wrote. Like, that show is filled with horror stars from the 80s.
Absolutely. And I think we should. I think that should be next. Murder, She Wrote. Linda Blair was in an episode just a year after this film.
Yes. But yeah, best line of dialogue in the film. Go fucking Iceberg.
Go fucking Iceberg. Do you think he meant iceberg as in the Titanic, or an iceberg lettuce?
Probably the Titanic.
I see.
Yeah, and then refers to Jake as a homophobic slur, one of many we get in this film.
Yeah, it's prevalent in the 80s, unfortunately. It catches us off guard, doesn't it? We're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Even the Queen herself, Linda Blair, uses it at one point, unfortunately. It's a sign of the times.
But we know it's not true about the guy she says it about, because he's in this next scene, and the girls are still doing gym class, and he walks in and gets an erection whilst watching them.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
His fly's undone.
No, he gets an erection. He sorts himself out.
His fly's undone.
He
That's
rearranges.
Well, the erection may have caused his fly to come undone. Which I think is what's happened to Pee-wee Herman. Pee-wee Herman, I almost said.
Oh my god.
Pee-wee Herman.
Fucking hell.
But yeah, Cindy the cheerleader has caught the eye of... but I realise it's her boyfriend now. What's his name?
Wes.
So Wes is watching Cindy the cheerleader, and her friend says, "Oh, he's a total babe." I'm sorry, even by 80 standards, he's not a total babe.
He looks the oldest out of all of them.
I'm sorry to that man. Yes, he's on the football team. You know, he's got one of those... what are those jackets called?
Lacrosse.
No. The Letterman?
I have
Letterman
no idea.
Jackets? I don't know. But he's part of the football team. And Cindy, in her best Chris impression from Carrie, says, "Look, but don't touch, sweetie." She's definitely given...
Sybil Danning.
Well, she's given Sybil Danning, but she's also given Nancy Allen.
Yeah. The scars are spying on the cheerleaders and act like they've never seen girls before they spot Heather going into the gym on her own. All of the girls from gym class now go and shower. Fran tells the girls that she wants them all to show up for the wedding and that she wants none of them to be stoned.
Yeah. I feel like she's a bit young to be getting married.
Why the fuck is she getting married? It's such a weird storyline. She's pregnant as well.
But seemingly she hasn't told her boyfriend she's pregnant.
No.
So he just, alright, we're getting married. I assumed it was a shotgun wedding because she was pregnant.
Yeah.
But seemingly she didn't tell him.
Yeah, it's a very weird storyline, that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just in there for added shock value for the exploitation side of things for when she gets murdered.
Oh. Yeah, Fran, do you know where you recognise her from?
No.
She is the nurse from Friday the 13th Part 4.
Oh, okay.
What is the famous line? With that guy, who's the creepy guy. She's also in Back to the Future 1 and 2. But I don't recognise her from there. Oh, what is the doctor called? You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you mean, I can't remember.
No, I can't remember either. But anyway.
Yeah, Heather's still alone in the gym.
Axel.
Oh,
Axel. I can't remember what the line is.
Heather's still alone in the gym when she starts doing some ballet dancing. One of the scars confronts her and...
Yeah, suddenly it's like a advert for like
yeah.
women's products. Like women's deodorant.
Yeah. One of the scars confronts her and sarcastically compliments her dancing.
Yeah, so this is Red.
Yeah,
He looks like he's straight from a trauma film.
he does.
Giving me Surf Nazis Must Die.
Brenda informs Fran, who we mentioned is pregnant, that if she has a girl, she has to be called Brenda because she's the godmother.
Yes.
I love that this line's included just so we know she's pregnant.
Yeah. It's a cheap way of getting a bit of extra sympathy, isn't it? Because spoiler alert, she's the only one that's actually killed.
Yeah. Heather starts teaching the Scars Gang member, Red, she starts teaching him sign language, which then he starts asking her if she knows how to do this one before shoving his finger through a hole he's created with his hand.
Yeah, and then Heather starts doing it as well, not understanding that he's making fun of her.
Yeah.
Cindy has it out with Brenda.
How does she start it?
I can't remember.
Not so fast, you little whore. You and I have things to discuss.
Yeah.
This is absolutely giving Chained heat.
So this is absolutely giving Chained heat. Unfortunately, Brenda doesn't call her a chalk-faced whore, but she does call her a stupid, stuck-up, see you next Tuesday. I've put it here, and yeah, I don't want to make too much of what is a throwaway B-movie scene, but unsurprisingly, it's not the guy who gets into trouble, even though he's the one being a creep.
In regards to the guy, Cindy says that she wouldn't fuck him. No, sorry. Brenda says she wouldn't fuck him if he had the last dick on earth, which absolutely sets off Cindy. And a big fight breaks out, but not just between Brenda and Cindy, who make their way into the showers to fight, conveniently, whilst Brenda's wearing white. But in the background, two other naked girls are fighting as well, for absolutely no reason.
So I've got Cindy and Brenda fight in the shower as two other fully nude girls fight in the background as a special treat for those who like that kind of thing. Because there's absolutely no other reason for it. Yeah, all these showers, it's very much the inevitable B-movie, full frontal female nudity that's completely unnecessary because they could have had this fight somewhere else.
Sure.
But, you know, that's the nature of the beast. Who do you think was president at the time? You think
Bush,
it was Reagan, but Bush was definitely in office.
Yes.
Another weird thing to see. just so much.
But the amount of 80s films we watch, and not really unusual.
This is probably the most we've seen in one go.
Yeah, it's true.
This is very...
Also, this is meant to be a fucking school. Why are we seeing naked girls for?
But this is the thing, of course, you know, well, I'm hoping, really, that none of the actresses would have been under 18.
No, I don't.
They certainly don't look... The only one in the film that actually looks like she could be high school age is Linnea Quigley.
Yeah.
Really.
So the guy, Red, asks Heather if she's ever kissed a real man. She writes down her dad.
Yeah.
So he offers to kiss her.
Dad,
and,
because we need more sympathy.
Yeah.
The dad that recently died.
Yeah. He forces a kiss on her. Heather attempts to escape, but is cornered, dragged to the boys' toilets, and sexually assaulted by the gang, whilst Brenda continues to fight with Cindy.
Yeah. She is stripped, and essentially Vinny's thrown on top of her.
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem to be protesting too much.
No, I think
it's a very unsettling scene.
Yeah, and I think it could have been even worse. I believe this is where it was cut.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
It's very jarring to have a scene like this in what is, for us now, a cheesy B-movie.
Yeah.
Really. It's very jarring. It's not... obviously, we don't like to go into the details on the podcast when it comes to scenes of sexual assault. So I'll just sort of leave it at that. It's unsettling. It's and jarring compared to the rest of the film.
Yeah. And, I mean, I'm very much in the school of thought that, everything should be released and cut as it's made, to a certain extent. In this case, I wasn't completely mad at the fact that this was cut down.
No.
You didn't need to see the whole thing. The setup was bad enough.
Yeah. It's one of those where I don't think the extended scene would help the film. It would actually probably hinder the film.
Yeah. So Brenda and Cindy get a telling off for the fight by the principal. Cindy runs away crying, and the principal chats up Brenda. He says, "You're a bright girl, got a pretty face, good figure."
So this is definitely one of those films where every man is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Every single male character is...
Well, apart from Fran's fiance.
Oh, okay. Every character in the film that gets more than one line is a piece of shit.
Jack, back in the bathroom, Jake kicks Heather in the face and leaves her in the bathroom unconscious whilst the girls try calling her name in the school gym. Probably not the brightest thing to do for a deaf girl.
Yeah, and they do realise that pretty quick.
And as serious as the scene was that we just seen, one of the girls' reactions is a little more difficult to take seriously. As she runs back and says, "Oh my God, Brenda! Brenda!"
It is quite... It's one of those moments where the acting makes it funny.
Yeah.
When it's really not meant to be funny.
Yeah. Heather is taken to hospital. Brenda stays with her for a bit before she goes home and has a cry. And then she goes to a nightclub where a very 80s band are playing a very 80s song to the very 80s audience who provided some of the best dance moves I've ever seen.
Yeah, so this is where the ladies are all wearing the same jacket, aren't they?
Yeah.
I suppose in Greece terms they'd be the red ladies, not the pink ladies. Another really confusing part of American culture. I think they're drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, how old are they meant to be?
I think the film forgets how old they're meant to be from time to time.
I think so.
Charlene...
They're drinking scotch on the rocks.
Charlene's there.
Good old Charlene. When you said that there was the actress that couldn't make it for the second half, or the second part of filming, I assumed you meant her. But
yeah.
she's very much throwaway character.
Charlene is an older lady.
I'm assuming she owns the club.
Yeah, and they're all just having a gossip with her, aren't they, and telling her what happened. Brenda reveals that she wants to get some revenge for what happened. Charlene's just like, "Tell it all, sister. Tell it all."
Tell it all. Jake and the lads I've got here, the Scars go. They go to see Vinny at work. Vinny seems remorseful, but the others aren't having any of it.
No.
So this is where Vinny starts to become fucking annoying, actually. Yeah. Fran talks about wanting to move away to a farm at the club. And this is where I think, because her fiance, I suppose, her fiance said something about, "Oh yeah, and when we eventually have kids." So I don't think she told him that she was pregnant.
No, but she needs to go to the toilet so bad she'll need to wring her socks.
Yes. So yeah, another reminder that she's pregnant. She needs to pee immediately. The Scars turn up at the club. And they finally get their money.
They do.
And you never see him again.
No.
They harass the waitress.
Yeah.
And then they harass Fran as she returns from the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of white knights try to help her out. And a fight ensues with Fran eventually slashing Jake with a knife across the face.
I love how this scene... Everyone else just continues what they're doing in the club. The band continue playing. The girls are still at their table despite Fran being attacked. And everyone's just still dancing.
Yeah, that was a strange one because the two guys that save her are two random guys.
Yeah.
They're not like her fiance and his pal who were at the table So I don't know how far away she is from the table for no one to have seen. But eventually Richie, who is her fiance, does go over, and that's when the knife happens and Jake gets slashed across the face.
Yeah.
The next day in class, Richie recites a poem about getting head. Do you have that written down?
He does. Well, there's a poem read to the class by the teacher, Miss Young. It's funny that she's called Miss Young because she looks like the youngest member of the cast.
She does. She does.
Cindy thinks it's about a walk on the beach, but Richie has another idea. His poem is Disco sucks, punk is dead, give me rock and give me head.
There we go. Just, I think John Farnham used them as lyrics in his song.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is another scene that's eventually school shit. School.
Yeah.
Everything's going to pot. Everything's crap.
Miss Young asks Maria what it means to give head, and Maria thinks it's something to do with sex, and the teacher asks the class to connect sex and death.
Yeah, she's Miss Young and she's Miss Cool as well. She's down with the kids, and she's like, we can talk about sex. I give you permission. We can talk about sex in class. Yeah, so she's one of the cool teachers.
Yeah, she also tries offering a helping hand to Brenda, but Brenda's not having any of it at all.
So yeah, Brenda's demeanour's changed a lot. How do we know that, Gary?
Because she started smoking.
Yes, and she only wears black for the rest of the film. Miss Young says to Brenda, "You can't take the whole world on by yourself," and Brenda essentially says, "We only see us for an hour a day. What do you know?"
One of the...
Which I'm not really sure the point. I'm not sure what the
No.
point they were kind of trying to give there.
One of the scars tells Vinny that Jake wants to speak to him whilst he's at his porn-covered locker. That's also a really weird thing. I mean, does no one ever see that locker?
Yeah. Yeah, like bloody Chesty Morgan and the in his locker.
Wes tries speaking to Brenda whilst they're waiting for another class to start, and the rest of the class are dancing around in the background.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here, but they're having the best time.
It's like rock and roll high school.
Yeah. Cindy is fuming, so Brenda says to her when she walks up, "Fuck off, bitch."
The teacher comes in, and to much hilarity, someone has drawn a giant cock on one of the posters.
Yes.
So he pulls it down, there's a giant penis on there. Vinny is feeling extra guilty after learning of Heather's injuries. He reassures the Scars that the secret is safe with him, but Jake wants revenge on Fran.
Yes.
Cindy's asked to speak in front of the class about the reproductive system. She says that she can't because her parents don't think they should be learning about such things.
Why the fuck would you not learn about it?
She then throws some considerable shade towards Brenda. She insults Heather. And Brenda is fucking fuming. She is mad as hell. And she goes for her, don't she?
She does.
She has had it officially. And they have a nice fight. They have a fight again. Eventually, Brenda rips Cindy's top off in the middle of class. Cindy does that thing where she's trying to cover up but not cover up completely because of the audience. And she runs out of the class.
She does. Brenda's kicked out of school for her.
It's the kind of shit I love in these sort of films. It's so stupid. Principal John Vernon is creepy with Brenda again and then suspends her from school. Didn't he... she says something like, fuck you. And he says the words to the effect of, I would if I would if I could. It wasn't John Vernon. Wasn't he in Chained Heat?
Maybe.
Oh, I think he was the warden in Chained Heat. So they had a very similar sort of conversation in Chained Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'm right.
Fran tries on her wedding dress.
She did. It's beautiful.
Whoa, ho, ho! This is hot stuff.
Yeah. It's 1984.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
The Scars spot Fran and start following her. They chase her down and eventually throw her off a viaduct.
A viaduct.
That's what it's. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it is a viaduct because there's no traffic going on underneath and no water. So yeah. Yes. Yeah. So poor Fran is murdered.
Yeah. Vinny is fuming about this, and as he leaves the gang, in the tradition of Anderson Falls, he's like, "I hate you!"
Oh, he does, yeah. Yeah, excuse me. I'm a bit lost. Have I missed something?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, excuse me. So poor Fran is thrown off the viaduct. What does Jake say?
What does Jake say?
Here comes the bride. She's all drenched in red.
Vinny visits Heather in hospital and apologises whilst telling her he didn't want to do it. Brenda arrives and overhears him, so she starts hitting him, which causes him to run away.
Yeah, he gets a few deserved slaps,
He does.
But manages to run off.
And in one of the best scenes of the film, something that I believe would have been a big deal, because it's Linda Blair, and even though she's most well known for being a child star, Linda Blair getting her boobs out would have been a big deal to men in the 80s.
Yeah, I think she did in Chained Heat, didn't she?
She did.
Which was the year before.
Oh, okay. But yeah, this scene,
impeccable.
It's just
incredible.
This is the one scene that stood out to me the first time I watched it as well. Justice for One by John Farnham is playing.
Top tier banger.
And whilst he's singing about, how justice should be served on these horrible men, Brenda is just sat in the bath, no bubble bath or anything, so you can see everything. She's just sat there, having a long think and a ciggy whilst this song plays.
She literally... And it's so weird because there was no nudity earlier in the shower, but we're having this very intense scene where she's found out who has assaulted her sister, who she loves so dearly. She's recently lost her father, so she is in a real, bad place.
Yeah.
She wants to seek revenge, and she does it all whilst having a fag in whilst having a ciggy in the bath.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. This is why we do a podcast like this. I'm sorry. This is why. This is fucking camp as tits.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And we get the little, getting dressed montage where she's zipping up her black... I don't know how you would describe it. I mean, it's Black Widow before Black Widow, come on.
Yeah, this scene, this whole montage really pumps her up because from the sig in the bath moment, her camp levels are just through the roof.
Yeah.
For the rest of the film.
Yeah, and eventually she had wet hair in the bath.
She did.
She had wet hair in the bath, and afterwards it's big and it's permed.
Yeah.
She's got a full face of makeup.
Mm-hmm.
She's got the red lip. She's got some dangly earrings. She's wearing, I suppose you wouldn't call it a catsuit, but she's head to toe in black leather.
She is.
She's got heels on. She's absolutely serving. She's
Yeah.
serving a look. And she's ready to seek revenge.
She is.
Yeah, justice for one, justice for all.
Yeah,
You get what you give when you've broken the law.
She goes to Vinny's house and holds a knife to his throat and interrogates him. He tells her about what happened to Fran, and Brenda goes on the hunt for the rest of the scars.
Yeah, it was the scene with Brenda's mum when she answers the phone and learns about Fran's fate.
Yeah.
And then she goes into Brenda's bedroom and Brenda has snuck out the window. It's the strangest thing because seemingly only Vinny's dad has any issue with them being out late.
Yeah.
So I don't know why she had to sneak out the window. And she's going, Mum, I'm going, bye.
She confronts Red and Fargo, and they ask her if she wants it like her sister. Now, from this point, the dialogue's just out of control. Brenda says, "What's the matter, boys? Am I getting you all hot and horny?" And Fargo says, "I'm gonna fuck that bitch."
Yeah, it's very... Yeah, when we watched I Spit on Your Grave, where it was the kind of iffiness of using sex to get revenge for a sexual assault. Obviously, this is kind of different because it was Heather that was assaulted. But also, she clearly has a bunch of arrows sticking out of her back pocket. Very clearly. I mean, I think it's the image that's used for the poster. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's very obvious that she's luring them into a trap.
It's true.
But these dickheads are as thick as they are scummy.
Yeah.
And they follow her in.
They do. They ask her, "Want to play hide the salami? You like hide the salami, don't you, Brenda? Oh, you fucking cunts like hide the salami." Okay.
Yeah, so he's just going through this, whatever it is. It's like a storage unit of fabric.
It's just a big warehouse.
It's pretty much a labyrinth though, for some reason, like it's a freaking maze. And he's just shouting obscenities at her for the whole fucking time. Yeah.
She keeps taunting them, but then he realises eventually that it was a tape machine playing a recording of her voice. And he says, "She came loaded for bear. Oh yeah, you'll get your bear. Biggest fucking bear you ever saw."
Yeah, which out of context sounds a bit weird.
Fargo would be a hit on Grindr.
There are bear traps on the floor. Which is why but he shouts that to Red. Is that just come loaded for bear? Like, what does that even mean?
And then to make matters even better, Brenda shows up and says, "Good thing you're not double jointed. Because if you were, you'd be able to bend over and kiss your ass goodbye." Really? What the fuck does that even mean? And she shoots him in the neck with a crossbow.
Yes.
And Red wanders around, asking where the pussy is, before he finds Fargo's corpse. And Brenda says, "Now it's your turn with the pussy."
She goes to shoot him, but he falls backwards onto one of the bear traps off screen. And he dies.
Yeah.
And she lights a cigarette.
She does. Jake arrives at the warehouse where Brenda has displayed Fargo and Red's corpses for him to see, and she shoots him in the leg with a crossbow and taunts him from a distance.
She shoots him in both legs, doesn't she?
She does.
He has a gun on him.
Mm-hmm.
He shoots at her a bit, but it doesn't, she's hidden. And what happens after that?
So he tries. He tries to escape, and Brenda hangs him by his feet from a gate. He spits in her face, hits her with the gate, and manages to free himself. Tries strangling Brenda, but she stabs him in the dick with a knife, and somehow he still manages to get up and chase her into a paint store.
Yeah. Oh yes, of course. She's hiding in this paint store. And then she sees that the paint is flammable. Conveniently, there's a massive red sticker in front of her face saying flammable. So she jumps out, throws the paint in his face.
Mm-hmm.
They have a scuffle for a bit, don't they?
Yeah.
She sets him on fire. and a very leather-faced looking stunt double jumps through the store window on fire.
I love these 80s fire stunts. Where they're always a little in slow motion. The scream always sounds ridiculous. Does not match the face at all.
Yeah, and obviously to do the stunt, some padding is needed.
Yeah.
The one I always remember is when Freddy Krueger puts on about 5 stone when he's set on fire in Nightmare on Elm Street. But the same happens here, but it's a cool obviously a cool scene. Where he's set on fire and that's it. The police appear straight away for some reason. And the police appear and it's nighttime.
Yeah.
But when it cuts to the fire stunt, it's daytime. So I'm a little confused. I'm assuming it's nighttime, but they, had to do the stunt during the day or whatnot. We then cut to the girls at Fran's grave.
Yes.
Including a recovered Heather.
Mm-hmm.
Now, bless her heart, Heather, when she was assaulted, she had that very Hollywood, completely bandaged head. And now she's got a few scratches, so I'm not sure how far ahead in time this is. Because I assume she was in some sort of coma. But they're acting as if this is the first time they've been to Fran's grave. So I don't know how far ahead the time has jumped. But Heather has made quite a miraculous recovery.
She has.
If it's straight after the events of Brenda killing the Scars. Did we missed something?
No,
Vinny getting run over.
Did he get run over? Oh, was that him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Vinny got run over.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know why that was in my notes.
I don't know why. Yeah, because I was thinking, I was like, oh, justice for all.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. Yeah, so watch the film. I'm going to recommend you watch the film.
Well...
So don't just listen to this and never watch the film.
Yeah.
So it's okay where we can just add now that prior to turning up at the warehouse, Jake did run over Vinny.
Yeah.
And kill him. So he got his justice, just not from Brenda.
Yeah. At the end, when they're all at Fran's grave, Brenda comments, "At least we set things right." To which Stevie replies, "No, Brenda, you set things right." And then Innocent Hearts by John Farnham plays as we get the end credits.
Yeah.
And she did set things right. Linda Blair did set things right for this film because she's one of the best things about it.
She is the best thing about it. She is. I can sit here now and tell you this is one of my favourite B movies of all time. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's so camp. Really, really fucking camp. Linda Blair is on top form. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It is. It's stupid.
It is.
I love the soundtrack. I love that the soundtrack is completely on the nose.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole film. It's a tale of female empowerment, and Lord knows we love that. It's so 80s. The hair is big. The fashion is 80s. The humour is stupid.
Yeah.
It's just really, really enjoyable from start to end.
Yeah, it really is. It's a camp entertaining time.
It really is.
And
I fully recommend watching it.
Yeah, it's difficult to get hold of, but it is on YouTube in full if anyone wanted to check it out on now.
Yeah, please, if anyone with money or contacts is listening to this and you've got some spare time to do a deluxe Blu-ray edition of this film, I will gladly pay you money to own that.
Yes. So that is Savage Streets.
Savage Streets.
If you're a fan of Savage Streets, so you want to chat to us about anything cast, we're Horrorcore Trash over on Facebook and Instagram, Horrorcore Trash on Twitter. I'm Dead at Gaz92 on Letterboxd, Gazmo205 on Instagram, and GazCruise92 on Twitter.
I'm Chris Barker823 on Instagram and Letterboxd.
Give us a rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, like a follow and everything else. Give us a rating on Spotify. And next week, on Tuesday, we will be back with Razorblade Smile with special guest Sander.
Yeah.
We slightly delayed episode, but I'm convinced it'll be more than worth the wait.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I had great fun last time watching Aquanoids.
Yes.
And discussing with Xander.
Sure, this will be just as fun as Aquanoids.
Absolutely.
So we will see you on Tuesday.
Bye.